Chapter 1 Loomings. Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely. Having little or no money in my purse and nothing particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery parts of the world. It is a way I have of driving off the spleen and regulating the circulation. Whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is a damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself involuntarily pausing before coffin warehouses and bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, and especially whenever my hypos get such a upper hand of me that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hat off, then I kind of high time to get to sea as soon as I can. Or the story is, I've been keeping this book with me for a while, the Moby-Dick, so I'm going to talk about it. How you read the Moby-Dick? How do you read it? You don't recite. You don't read it. Actually, you recite it. So I'm going to talk about that. Call me Ishmael. I carry the Moby-Dick with me when I travel. I visit lakes and watery parts, contemplating on the book and water. So I make some jokes like Jesus from water made wine. Okay, and the book has replaced the Bible. Henceforth, our prophet is Ahab. That's what we're going to say. Our prophet is Ahab from now on. Let us voyage into the sea. Let us voyage into the sea. So long as you patrol the lands and conversate with peaks and valleys, spend a night with water. Perhaps freestyle a boxing match with wind. So the question is, how do you read the Moby-Dick? Right? You don't just read it. You inhale it like a joint, okay? You exhale it as you pronounce each word with vigor and commitment and dedication and love and all that, So you go, call me Ishmael. You talk about the whaley, the ocean reverie. You have to be infatuated with water. Otherwise, don't even read this book, okay? So how do you read it? You recite it out loud, in the shower. Make your neighbors hate you while you're reading this out loud. Just to piss them off. Just to piss off your neighbors. That's how you read it. The sputter in. The sermon. You could practice that. You could read the sermon to anybody. If it was a piano, I would play it at the airport, okay? If this was a piano, peace. But the Moby-Dick is a recital. It's poetry. That's what I say. Anyhow, so I'm gonna talk about some of my experience. I've been keeping it with me for the year. So some of the observations that I made over the years, and also how you should read the Moby-Dick and why you should read the Moby-Dick. Really, it feels like an accomplishment for me. My personal story is that I bought this book a while back when I was in college, and I didn't read it, and it's been in my care for like some odd years. And then finally, I got around to reading it, and then it just blew my mind like, wow. It was a volcano that erupted in my mind as I was reading this. Okay, and after that, it was a matter of just going back and forth, rereading. Ahab, some of the story. It feels it's not a novel in the standard sense. It doesn't follow the story beats of the newer where there's a climax, a resolution, happy ending. None of that. This is a man's life. This is autobiographical in some sense, but it's more. The whale is really, arguably, the main character of the story, or Ahab is. Could be Ahab, could be the prophet, could be a multitude of other characters, but Ishmael is just the narrator, really, so it doesn't even matter. It's, Quick, and the beginning, the loomings, the watery parts, and all that together feels neat in a way. So you don't read Moby-Dick, you recite it out loud. You keep it battered, beaten, and rugged. It helps with the aesthetics. So you don't get a crisp new Moby-Dick, okay? Mess with it. Get an older one. Break it apart. Practice shooting at it or something. Take it to the range and shoot it with bullets. Also, I took this with me to other places, water, and I say that, where Ishmael is infatuated or takes to the sea, I just go to the river. I visit the river. The river is near. I'm not gonna go to sea to experience or to the water and meditation are wedded or something like that. That's what the Zen masters say. And also me too personally. It was weird. Like this is all in a way like just coincidence, but my own observations on water or kind of are similar to what I've read. So, and the statement that he makes in the beginning of the book and says that, if only they knew that all men, hold the same reverie that I have for the ocean as me. And he kind of just then after that talks about that the observation of how Saturday evening, go any Saturday evening anywhere. Well, in this case, the Manhattoes, but anywhere in the world, most people would go where? They'll go to the lake, the pond, the sea, the river, something. If it's an outing, where do people go? The beach. Just water has been uh, pretty much. So Ishmael goes out whaling. From there, goes on the ship with Quickback and Captain Ahab, who's a well-known crazed maniac who has as a revenge story. He's going back out to catch the whale. The whale, the sperm whale or the white whale or as they call it. And the story follows that. But I just kind of feel that it's like it rings in my ear. I can hear it. It's fun to recite it, and I just like the dedication that Herman Melville put into this book. It shows, and it takes a minute. It can go above people's heads. There are some historical things. There are some cytology. It pretty much teaches you about whaling and all the things that has to do with whaling. Already we are boldly launched upon the deep, but soon we shall be lost in its unshored, harborless immensities. Every that comes to pass, so he talks about the cytology, and yeah. After reading this book, the feeling that I get is I want to go a shipping. Okay, I want to go voyaging, and maybe take the book with me, and maybe spend an evening gazing into that deep darkness, the ocean, and see what I can get. Don't stare too much. Don't stare too deep into the void. Or the void will stare back into you, or it's the same. Don't stare into the abyss, or the abyss will stare into you, or something like that. That was the saying. And that's my experience that I had this year with kind of the Moby-Dick. I've been reading this pretty much, and now I'm just telling people to go out there if you haven't already. It's awesome. So it's just my feelings, how you read the Moby-Dick, some of my readings. I'll put some of my readings of the first chapter as I went around some of the places, and I'll show all that. So yeah, if you like the video, please leave a like, comment down below. Let me know what your experience is with maybe the Moby-Dick. Is there a story? Was it an accomplishment? Did you take it off of your Zam 100 dead bucket list? Did you take it off of that? If not, let me know. Why not? Is that on your Zam 100 bucket list? But that's that. Thanks for watching, and peace.